All right, welcome to my presentation. I'm going to show you how to get rid of all of your problems once and for all. And I appreciate that that is a very big promise. So I'm going to ask a favor of you right off the bat. What I'm about to share with you is going to require you to set aside almost everything you think you know about yourself. So, this promise doesn't come at a cost. It's going to be a bit of a give and take. I really need some suspension of disbelief from my audience if it's going to have a massive impact on you. And truthfully, I really enjoy giving this presentation to the people who will have the most to gain from flipping their thoughts. And who is that, you might wonder? That is the people who have the most concrete, never think they're going to change, have tried a million solutions, problems that they are committed to believing there's nothing anyone can do to change them. So if that's you, if you feel like you have problems and you are sure that this isn't going to work, then I really hope you'll give me some of your time and sit through this because what if I'm right? And, I'm biased, but I definitely think I am. So, the people with the biggest problems have the most to gain from this if you can just do what I asked and suspend disbelief for a bit and let me take you on a journey. So let's talk about what makes a problem big, and it's very subjective. So for some people, they would say a big problem is one that's been around for a long, long time. It might cost a lot of money, or it has already consumed a lot of resources in the attempt to fix it. If it has a major impact on health, if it has a major impact or even a small impact on your loved ones, that can add a really heavy burden, of course, of guilt or shame or all sorts of things that make a problem even bigger than the actual problem itself. The amount of solutions that you've already tried that haven't worked. So, in the beginning, when you first are faced with a problem and you feel like you have lots of options for ways to fix it. Once you start moving through those options, if they are failing to work, then that can make the problem feel even bigger. Even if the problem hasn't changed at all, your level of hope can decrease, which makes the problem seem bigger. How much you personally care about the situation is obviously going to have a direct impact on how you like where you put it on the continuum of how big it is, and of course how much pain it causes you. So whether that's emotional pain and or physical, the amount it causes you is directly proportionate to how big you'll say it is. Okay, so let's get rid of all of those problems once and for all. How about, so let's get going here. The primary shift that helps people release from literally any problem they can name is understanding this key difference between who they are and what they are. You've got to know the difference between those things if you're going to set yourself free from your problems. So let's talk about who you are, right? So it's this sentence. It starts with I am what? And there's some ideas written on this slide. I am my name, my nicknames, my labels, my occupation, my relationships, my roles, my qualities, my habits, my hobbies. So I just went through those super fast. Let's go to the next slide where there's some examples written. So a person might say, I am a mom, I am an aunt, I am a senior, I am a nurse, I am a fitness instructor, I am outgoing. I am lazy. I am really good under pressure. I am super focused or not easily distracted. Like the list goes on and on and on. It's really endless. And what I want you to really take from this and understand is that these kind of sentiments after the phrase I am that might accurately be describing what society would accept as a really reasonable answer. That I am my job, I am my relationship to others, I am my qualities, right? We have labels, we have nicknames, we have habits that we do as behaviors that become our identity. So all of these things are an identity that is not what you are, it is who you are. And in my world, I like to explain the difference between, okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's just go to the next slide. So, who are you is going to have any number of things that you can use as examples after. Sorry, and one more thing I want you to remember or realize is that all of these qualities can change over time. So, like for example, I am a baby. What about when you grow up into a teenager? Then you would say, I am a teenager. And now, probably if you're watching this presentation, you are an adult. And so the qualities, the characteristics that we tag after that phrase I am, the ones that are not the capital T truth are ones that can change. And why this matters is that when we identify as these flexible qualities that we can grow into and out of and that change over time, we become very unsure of actually what we are, which is where we're going next. So let's talk about that. What are you? What are you? Never mind who you are. What are you? So follow me back to a very basic biology class where this is very, very basic, right? So as a human being, you're most likely aware that inside of your skin, and well, your skin is an organ as well, but inside of you, there's a lot of complicated organs, right? And if we break those organs down and look at them under a microscope, we'll see that they are, in fact, made up of individual cells, right? This picture shows some blood cells inside of a blood vessel. And if you remember from biology class, you maybe have had the experience of even taking a small slice of a piece of blood vessel and seeing that it too is made up of cells. Great. So if we go even smaller, each individual cell is made up of molecules. So here we have a picture of molecules, and all these gray dots would be one type. So let's say they're carbon, and then the white dots would be maybe oxygen. And so that's starting to become an even smaller representation. So this whole thing together might be something like glucosamine. I have no idea what this molecule is, what it represents, but it's something like that. So molecules are pretty small. We're getting pretty small. So inside of a red blood cell, for example, there would be hundreds of molecules. But we can get even smaller where we break down into atoms. So the little gray being carbon is what I guessed that it is. Each carbon is an actual atom, and atoms are as small as we are aware of at this point in time. So the reason we're talking about this is not a science class, but the reason we're talking about it is we've got to just like acknowledge that what we are is um, a biological entity, right? And if we break it down to its smallest form, we come to atoms. So let's talk about atoms for a minute. In the human body, each molecule, right? So a molecule, remember, makes up the cells. So each molecule is made up of atoms. There are roughly 7 octillion atoms per person. So, in case you're curious, that is 7 with 23 zeros. So, a friggin' lot. That's just what it is. But what's so interesting is that it doesn't matter what you do for a living, it doesn't matter what continent you were born on, it doesn't matter what color your skin is, it doesn't matter what gender you identify as. At the end of the day, no matter what your personality traits are, you're the same atomic makeup as every other human being. You're carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, and hydrogen. Interesting, not doesn't matter. Don't get tripped up on that. So just let's take a breath here and just receive what we've heard so far and just really, see where you're at in terms of like, are you on the same page? Are we resistant to these ideas? Or are you um, so far feeling no resistance? Like, yep, okay, we're made up of atoms. Big deal. Okay, well, let's find out why that's a big deal. So here is a picture of an atom. And what's very significant about why it matters that we think about how much of us is, or that we're actually made up of atoms, is that now listen to this statistic. 99.99% of an atom looks like empty space, but it's filled with energy. Less than 0.001% of an atom is physical matter. I'm just going to pause for a second. Less than 0.001% of an atom is physical matter. Now remember, I'm going to back up a couple slides. My human body, my organs are all made up of atoms. So although it appears that I'm solid, if you get down to the atomic level, I am mostly energy. And like of an extremely insignificant amount of my tissues is physical matter. So everything is not as it seems. Atoms are mostly energy, and so are you. If we think of a spoke on a bike, on the wheels of a bike, when that wheel is turning really fast, you can't put your finger in without it getting hurt, at least, if not chopped off, because the spokes are moving so quickly that it appears that there's no space between the spokes. And that's exactly what is happening with your atoms. So you can't put your hand through your other hand because the molecules, the not the molecules, sorry, the protons that make up the atoms are moving so fast, and they are being held at a certain distance from the nucleus, which is the center of the atom. The protons are moving so fast. So we'll go back to this picture. So fast they're orbiting around the nucleus that it's like spokes on a wheel. So you seem to be solid, but in fact, you are 99.99% energy. So we're getting a little closer to answering this question of what are you? And I want to go back to this slide. Everything is not as it seems. Atoms are mostly energy, and so are you. So here we go. What are you? I am infinite spirit energy. I am unconditional love. I am peace. I am limitless wisdom. I am perfect. I am passionate. I am creative. I am creative inspiration. Here's a big one. I am one with everything. Let's back up for a sec. Some of these ideas maybe were a bit of a leap. So let's look at this um, artistic representation of a human body. And you can see how there's all these lines and atoms that are outside of the body. And that's really significant because another quality of the atom is that the electrons, which is the electric charge that exists in all of that seemingly empty space, the electrons in there, they don't just stay in your oxygen atom, for example. The electrons, the electrical energy, it is shared in and amongst other atoms. And when scientists study and try to see the movement pattern of electrons disappear and then reappear. Where they go, they don't know. But there's increasing evidence to not just suggest, but to, well, suggest, sure, that our energy is not contained in our body. It exists way beyond our body, right? Way, way, way beyond our body. Because if 0.001% of us is physical, and you can see the size of an average or any size human, 99.9% of their existence isn't contained in the body. This is this is mind bending. So I'm just going to remind you, part of the deal here is that you have to suspend everything that you think you know about who you are, what you are. So let's go back to some of these truths, capital T truths about what you are. So infinite spirit energy, it's infinite. There is no limit to, there's no container that holds the energetic part of you. You're infinite. You are perfect. There's no flaws in energy. You are creative inspiration. You are one with everything because the energy of your molecules is no different and doesn't know the difference. It will jump from you to me to the tree to the dirt to everywhere. It's one with everything. There is no way to contain the energy that is you. You are worthy. You are God. This is another, so the term for God is used to describe this all-knowing, powerful spirit energy that exists in all things. and in nothing all at once. It defies any physical laws. It's very much in the quantum physics realm. So, what are you? You are incredible. You are an all knowing, powerful, life giving force. And this is my favorite part. And so is everybody else. So, don't let it go to your head. We are all this. And so are you. So, just let that sink in for a minute. I deliberately chose these pictures because this top one specifically with the sort of bionic looking woman who's got superpowers. This is what I would love it if more people would actually like think of themselves this way. Just like remember, you're a big deal. You are a big deal. And one more thing with this, these I am statements never change. It doesn't matter what you do for a living. It doesn't matter how old or young you are. It doesn't matter if you've started 18 charities. It doesn't matter if you've made $1 million. It doesn't matter if you're living paycheck to paycheck. It doesn't matter if you're not even getting a paycheck. These are truths no matter the circumstance. These are permanent, always present, never changing I am statements. So for the religious people in the crowd, I don't consider myself one, but there is one thing from religion that really, really, really caught my attention. And the it is the sentiment that only once in the Bible does God ever give a name for himself, and his response is, I am that I am. So, those two little words, I am, are quite sacred and very, very powerful. So, what you say about yourself after you throw around the words I am matters. And hopefully, if you didn't already know this, you are feeling quite um, excited about the idea of what you're actually accurately sort of allowed to say after the words I am. It's a pretty big deal. Okay, so now that we've got that under our belt, now that we understand the difference between who I am and what I am, let's talk about all of your problems. Because everyone likes to do that, right? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Talking about your problems actually makes them more powerful. And although I do love people's stories, and a big part of the work I do involves listening so that I can like understand where you're coming from, talking about your problems is only going to amplify them. It's just the way it is. So let's talk more about the sort of um, chemistry of a problem. So, how does a problem become your problem? And I'll just tell you the answer. It's what a situation makes you think about and what it makes you feel. Problems become yours only once they enter your body through your thoughts or an emotional reaction. If you pay close attention and you get practiced at this, you'll be able to tell where a problem lies within your body. That's a real, like, spoiler alert, that's a real key there. Just let's read that again. When you practice paying attention, you'll be able to tell where a problem lives inside your body. Remember that. We're going to come back to that. So, this is a little warning slide. Once you know, you cannot go back. So, if you want to like step outside, if you feel like I've already gone too far, if you don't feel like you're resonating, then by all means, go take a break or something, because you can't unknow once you know. And one of the reasons for that is that you already know everything I'm about to show you. You, from the perspective of what you are, you already know this. You're all knowing, right? There's nothing you don't know, but you've forgotten. So, from your bodysuit, from who you are, from the characteristics, the qualities, the experiences you've had in life, the degrees you have or haven't gotten, the marriages you have or haven't been in, all of the experiences, those are from that's what your body has been through, your physical self has been through. But your energetic self, it knows everything. But there's a weird catch to this whole game of life, and it's that when your energetic self enters your body as a baby, you forget all of the wisdom and the And you don't forget the wisdom, but you forget what you really are. So once you know, you can't go back. So if you're still interested, I'm excited to reveal some more. So this was one of the most expansive ideas that I came across or that I discovered for myself along my journey. And once I started to like train my mind to remember that my body lives inside of me, that was extremely liberating. Your problems, remember we said your problems get inside of you by what you think and how you feel? So your problems live inside your body and your body lives inside of you. You, what you are, the real you, the energetic you, the limitless life energy of you is infinite. It's way bigger than any situation that can be existing inside of your bodysuit, I like to call it. So if you're still with me, I'm going to give you a real crash course in miracles. There's a course called A Course in Miracles. It's 365 lessons that you're meant to do one a day for 365 days. But I'm going to give you a little crash course on it right now. And it is going to help you learn how to keep problems on the outside of your body. Because once they enter your body, you are going to want to solve them because they're super uncomfortable. So I'm going to teach you quickly how to keep problems on the outside of your body where they're much more manageable. And actually, you can work on them from the energetic part of you, which has all the answers in it. So it's a good deal. So, first, you want to work on removing attachments from the external beliefs that you don't even know are optional. So, on day one, you would practice looking around and just exercising the ability to look at literally anything. The more basic it is, kind of the more powerful the idea. But just pick up anything in front of yourself and remind yourself that nothing I see means anything. Nothing I see means anything. So you would pick up anything like this water bottle doesn't mean anything. These headphones don't mean anything. This phone doesn't mean anything. This pen doesn't mean anything. So try it for yourself and just let it work its magic. Just acknowledging it really doesn't mean anything. Just breaking the attachment to what you think that these things mean. On day two, the exercise is I have given everything I see the meaning it has, right? So I have given this water bottle the meaning it has. I have given this pen the meaning it has. I have given this phone the meaning it has. So I'm acknowledging that there is meaning to these things around me, but only the meaning that I've given it. So any significance that anything around me has is I can take responsibility for it. These headphones only have the meaning that I've given them. Okay? So remember what we're doing here is we're removing attachments from external beliefs that I didn't even know are optional, right? Day three, acknowledging as you look around, being indiscriminate, every single thing your eyes land on. I do not understand anything I see. So I do not understand these headphones. I do not understand this phone. I do not understand this water bottle, which maybe at this point you might be thinking, what is the point of this? And trust me, it's extremely impactful and it's really important to start to knock our ego out of the picture a little bit because it's the ego that tells you that it understands everything you see. And one way that I like to sort of ease myself into the practice is I ask myself if I suddenly somehow was transported back like 300 years and I needed to recreate any of these things that are all over my desk that I'm so, familiar with that I think I know everything about them. Literally, I'm just gonna like the headphones, for example. Could I create some headphones 300 years ago? No, I would have no clue where to start. Even the water bottle. How would I make that? I have no idea. So, like, when it comes, even though I'm very familiar with it and I know how to use it, I do not understand anything I see. So, if you can feel the potential power in those practices, then you're well on your way to keeping problems on the outside of your body. But it's the next slide here that really helps to change the um, the entry point where a problem enters into my body. So the second step is to remove attachments from all the internal experiences you thought you knew the meaning to. So on day 4, you would practice uh, repeating the phrase, "This thought does not mean anything, just like the things I see around me." So anything that you're thinking about, like right now, I'm thinking, I hope that me opening and closing the door so my little dog can come in and out isn't disrupting this recorded presentation. That thought does not mean anything, just like the things I see around me. So I'm starting to get into the practice by saying those phrases of releasing myself from the attachment that my ego wants to say, yes, it does mean something. Like, of course, I hope that the noises from the door don't mess with this recording. But that's a meaning that I'm putting on it, and it doesn't mean anything, just like the things I see around me. So, like my phone, I already went through this on day 1, 2, and 3. But my phone only has the meaning that I've attached to it, and so do my thoughts. Okay, so day 4 is doing the exercise of this thought does not mean anything, just like the things I see around me. Hopefully, you can already anticipate or even like feel the power that that sentiment can have on eliminating so many problems. So think about, when you walk into a room and you're worried about feeling judged, or when you do feel judged, it's not it yes, the person might be judging you, but it doesn't become a problem for you until your brain goes, "Oh, I feel judged by that person." So that would be a perfect and very high level space to practice. So you'd say, the thought that she just judged me does not mean anything, just like the things I see around me. And just like that, that doesn't have such a grasp on becoming an internalized problem in my body. So I'm just going to take a breath and invite everybody to do the same thing. Take a nice deep breath here. I'm going to encourage you to take a couple more nice deep breaths and just give yourself a minute to just like let all of this information that I've presented so far just kind of sink in. I know we're going pretty fast. Because the next one, day 5, is really, for some people, you'll just stop listening. It'll be too much. But for some people, you will be very, very invigorated and excited because you'll immediately feel the impact that this concept can have on your whole life, to be frank. So on day 5 in the Course in Miracles, we are encouraged to use the phrase to acknowledge that I'm not feeling whatever I'm feeling for the reasons that I think. So I'll practice one right here in the moment. I'm not feeling rushed for the reasons that I think. I am not feeling nervous for the reasons that I think. I am not feeling like I want to start over for the reasons that I think. So, do you see what's happening there? If I don't take the time to acknowledge that it's not for the reasons that I think that I'm feeling something. So, for example, if I just started thinking or feeling, man, I really want to start over, and I didn't tag on the phrase for the reasons that I think, then I would just think, I got to start over. Oh, and then the feeling would increase, the feeling of nervousness and being rushed, all of that would increase. And before you know it, I would have started over. And then magically, that feeling would have decreased. That feeling of that, like, feeling of nervousness and insecurity, all of that would decrease because I took action for the reasons that I think I'm feeling that way. So when I'm not in the practice of saying, of acknowledging, okay, I'm not feeling blank for the reasons that I think, I am when I'm not in the practice of doing that, I am allowing the problem to come straight in and land in my gut. That's where I feel anxiety. It can land in my chest, it can land in my throat. Those are my personal primary spaces where I feel emotion. But I've worked with clients who feel their emotions most strongly in their feet. And that took us a while to sort of figure out, like, that's a feeling. That's actually, for her, it was anger. And she was so uncomfortable feeling angry because if you met her, you'd love her. She's the nicest person. But she had learned a long, long time ago to suppress anger. And she was so good at it that it went all the way down to her feet. So it took a while, right, of emotional awareness to start to acknowledge and recognize I'm not feeling angry for the reasons that I think. So when you remove the reasons, you really are keeping the problem external to you and not swallowing it down, not allowing it to come into your body. So if we're not feeling the reasons for the reasons that we think, then what is the reason that we're feeling these feelings? Great question. What you feel depends only on what lives inside of you. So you're not new to this world, not only in this particular bodysuit. So whatever age you're at, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, it doesn't matter. You've already had decades of life if you're listening to this. And so in this lifetime, you have had experiences that you thought were for the reasons that you thought they were. And so you dealt with the reason, which caused the feeling to get trapped inside of you. So you have feelings trapped inside of you. This picture is of a coffee cup. So what I want you to think about is if you bump into somebody and they're drinking a cup of coffee, coffee is going to spill out of their cup. Is that because you bumped into them? No, it's because there's coffee in their cup. So if you bump into them, flowers and sunshine isn't going to come flying out of their cup because that's not what's in the cup. So if you bump into somebody and rage comes flying out of them, that's not because you bumped into them. That's because they have rage trapped inside of them. And so the rage that they're feeling is not for the reason that they think. It's because there is a feeling, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be rage. It doesn't have to be something huge. Like it could be insecurity. It could be um, literally any feeling at all. Whatever comes, whatever shows up for you, whatever feeling you're feeling is because it is trapped inside of you. It's an energy that's trapped inside of you. So let's talk a little bit about the law of attraction. Like attracts like. That's a law. Look it up. The energy inside of your body, whatever's trapped inside, attracts circumstances and events that bring up the trapped energy. So it'll find a circumstance that will elicit in you a response that matches the energy that's trapped inside of you. And energy that's trapped inside of you can be considered an energetic wound. So let's say the reason that you would feel deep sadness in a situation, it can be for anything. Like let's say somebody you love passes away. Even in that circumstance, the exercise would be I am not feeling deep sadness for the reasons that I think I am. Let's take a deep breath. My apologies if that hit someone and they weren't ready for it. Stay present with the feeling and just try the phrase again. I am not, so just be open and curious to this idea like, I'm not feeling deep sadness for the reason that I think I am. So that takes away this like desire to fix the problem. In the case of losing somebody, it's so impossible to fix it. It's such a permanent situation. So it can leave us feeling so hopeless and desperate and helpless because what are we supposed to do about that? So if we open up to this understanding that, okay, the reason I'm not feeling deep sadness for the reason that I think I am, it suddenly opens you up to a potential that wasn't there when you thought you knew the reason. Now, this is a little insider secret. The reason you're feeling deep sadness is because the deep sadness trapped inside your body is ready to be released. And you might be thinking, no, I've never felt this before. I've never felt this level of sadness. I've never lost anyone before, perhaps. So, this is where I'm going to ask you to suspend disbelief if this is a bit of a push against your current comfort. But there are energetic injuries inside of you that came before you were born. You inherited them either in the DNA structure of the sperm and the egg that created you, or it happened in utero, but it does not have to be something that happened inside of your conscious memory. So I'll read this again. The reason you're feeling deep sadness is because the deep sadness trapped inside of you, this is the good news, is ready to be released. The universe, God, spirit, energy, call it what you want, has given you exactly what your healthy body is asking for so that the suppressed feelings can leave and your tissues can return to health. Any trapped energy that lives inside of you is causing you health problems, relationship problems, finance problems, you name it. Any problem that you have is a reflection of a trapped energy that's living inside of you. So when you get triggered and a feeling comes up, if you can remember the phrase, I'm not feeling XYZ for the reason that I think I am, then you are opening up to the healing energy that can take that wound away permanently. And then the problems that that wound has been attracting don't need to be there anymore. This is really good news. So take a deep breath in. Witnessing your pain from your true identity. Remember what you are, right? I am God, I'm spirit energy, I'm bigger than my body lives inside of me. So remember those phrases. Witnessing your pain, whatever it is, whether, and I'm referring to emotions are painful, right? Like anger, shame, apathy. I don't need to name them, you know. All of those are considered pain, but physical pain as well. Witnessing your pain from your true identity is the medicine that heals your inner wounds. If you can hold that stance and pull back when you're feeling uncomfortable and say, I'm not feeling XYZ for the reasons that I think I am, and just be patient, just breathe. That work is the medicine that heals your inner wounds. Your ego is not going to like this at all. It's going to say, no way, you have to do something to solve the reason that you feel that way. But it is lying to you. And you probably will fall for it a few more times, maybe a lot more times after hearing this, even if you're fully on board and believing every word that you're hearing me say. The addiction to fixing our problems by targeting what we think the reason for feeling is very, very pervasive and it's very supported. Literally everyone around you is solving their problems by targeting the reason that they think that they're struggling. It's logical. It makes a ton of sense, but it won't ever heal the wound that's creating the problem to begin with. Only a witnessing unconditional love for the situation will cause that healing. Deep breath. Just take a minute to receive that. Maybe I'll just actually flip it back, let you read it again. Witnessing your pain from your true identity is the medicine that heals your inner wounds. Your inner wounds are the driving force behind all your problems. Heal your wounds, eliminate your problems. Remember, you are infinite spirit energy. There is nothing your body can experience that is bigger than you. You got this. But don't take my word for it. Find your way home through a daily meditation and mindset practice so you can feel the limitless power of being your truest self. It doesn't matter what you know. And I really hope that you were able to receive all of this information, but it won't change anything just knowing this. It is practice that will make the difference. It takes time to allow the capital T truth to override a lifetime of programming, to allow yourself to heal wounds and feel supported through the natural, it's very natural, but it's often terrifying, the growing pains that you'll feel as you go through this. So to allow yourself to heal, you want to stay connected to a community of people that are doing the same. I cannot overemphasize that. This is not a journey that is meant to be done solo. It's part of the process, part of the wounds that will heal will bring you closer and closer to people. And if that's a scary thing, then that's a wound that is asking to be healed. So get in with a community of people anyway, because you want to open yourself up to the triggers that are trying to heal the wounds that live inside of you. It is not easy, but it's really worth the work. So my name is Jody Thalheimer. I'm a mindset coach, and I do have some free ways to stay connected and to get involved with the community. So I have daily meditations that you can join in a Zoom link. You stay in your own space, you're at home, but you connect over Zoom. And we're talking about we're energetic beings, so don't be fooled by the illusion that we have to be in close physical proximity to benefit from each other. That's just not true. So I host daily meditations over Zoom, and that's free for anyone that wants to join. I do a program called Mindset Reset. It is also free for anyone that wants to join. It's a daily practice to reset your awareness of what you are, where your power lies, and finally who you really are. So, the presentation that you heard today, it requires small bite-sized chunks to reset your awareness so that you start to say things like, I am powerful, life-giving force, and you mean it so that you feel like a superhero. You feel super powerful because you genuinely are. I don't care what you've done so far in life. It doesn't matter how much money you make or don't make. None of those details matter. You are a powerful being. And if you have self doubts or insecurities, then you would benefit greatly from a daily reminder. It only takes a few minutes, but I help to reset your mindset and put you back on track to really letting go of the brainwashing that's taking you away from knowing, like a deep heart-centered knowing that you are powerful. So that's called Mindset Reset, and it's available. And then I also have a curated list of meditations and information to expand your mind and open your heart beyond your current reality so that you can listen to this information in bite-sized chunks on your own if that works for you, or like in addition to. So for any of those free resources, send me a friend request and a message on Facebook. You'll find me at Jody Thalheimer. So I suggest if you're even mildly interested, do that right now before you forget and leave the rest up to me. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate your attention, and I would love to hear if anything stood out for you or any discussion that this elicits. I live for it truly. So I look forward to hearing from you and can't wait to meet some new friends on Facebook.